أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We're going to look at short vowels, and these are 3 short strokes which are also known as short vowels, okay? And there are 3 of them, okay? So any letter that carries a short vowel or a short stroke, okay, is called in English a vowel letter, and in Arabic, it's called a mutaharrik letter, okay? So voweled translates as mutaharrik, okay? So when I say voweled in Arabic, it means mutaharrik, okay? That's another way of saying it in Arabic, okay? So any letter that carries any of these 3 short strokes or short vowels, okay, is a mutaharrik letter. Now, what are these short strokes? Let's have a look at those. Okay, the first one is a Fatha, okay? Over here, you can see there is a Fatha, okay? Now this is a slanted stroke, okay? It sits diagonally on top of a letter, okay? It's always on top and it's diagonal, and it's a short stroke, okay? Now, very, very important is the amount of time that we give when we see this stroke on top of a letter, and that's always only 1 count, okay? So 1 count, okay? So if you have a look here, I have an alif, okay? Now on top of it, there is that slanted stroke. That slanted stroke I know is a fatha, okay? Because it's slanted and it sits on top of the letter, okay? And I remember that whenever I see this stroke on top of a letter, I must recite it for only up to 1 count, okay? So any letter that carries a fatha on top of it is called a maftu letter. So this alif is a maftu letter because it has a fatha, okay, the slanted stroke on top of it, okay? And I will read it as a, short, simple, only 1 count, okay? No longer, I must not prolong it, short and simple, a, okay? So this alif is a maftu letter. Okay, that's the first type of short stroke. Let's have a look at the next one. The next one is called a Kasra. Now, a Kasra is a slanted stroke, but it sits under or below the letter, okay? And again, very important, the timing again on this is only 1 count, okay? So a Kasra, below a letter, and 1 count. So let's have a look at an example. I've got an alif over here, okay? And underneath it, there is a slanted stroke, which now I know is called a kasra, okay? So any letter that carries a kasra, so that slanted stroke underneath it, is called a maksur letter. So this alif is a maksur letter because it has a kasra, okay? And again, when we recite it, it's very important that we take care with our timing, okay? And as mentioned, it's only 1 count. It's a short stroke, so 1 count. So I will read it as E, E, okay? Just 1 count, no longer, okay? So this was the second type of short stroke. Let's have a look at the third one. This is the third one. It's called a Damma, okay? It's a curly stroke that looks a bit like a 9 and it sits on top of a letter, okay? And again, very important, the timing here again is only 1 count, okay? So when I have a letter here, so let me show you, I've got an alif again, and then I've got that curly stroke, looks like a 9 that sits on top of the alif. It's called a Damma, okay? When I've got this, I must only recite it for up to 1 count, okay? So I will read it as U, 1 count, so 1 count only, no longer, U, okay? And any letter that carries a Damma, okay, be it an alif or a ba or any other letter, if it carries a Damma, this sign on top of it, it is called, that letter is called a madmoom letter, okay? So this alif is a madmoom letter, okay? And I read it as U, okay? So in short, there are 3 short vowels, okay, which are the 3 short strokes, okay? You can call it short vowels, short strokes, okay? And those are Fatha, Kasra, and Damma, okay? And any letter carrying a short vowel is known as a voweled letter, okay? So any letter that carries a Fatha, a Kasra, or a Damma is a voweled letter, okay? And in Arabic, I can refer to that as a mutaharrik letter, okay? A Fatha always sits on top of a letter. A Kasra sits below a letter, and a Damma sits on top of a letter, okay? And any letter carrying any of these short strokes is called a mutaharrik letter. It's a voweled letter, okay? And it must only be, you must only spend 1 count on this letter, okay? And no longer. Inshallah, in a minute, I am going to ask the admin team to open up the breakout rooms. What will happen is you will get a pop-up, okay? And I would like you to accept that pop-up, and then you will be transferred into your own little groups where inshallah you'll get a chance to practice short vowels in Surah Al-Fatiha verses 1 to 5, okay? And we will focus on the rules that we've looked at, the short vowels, okay? So focusing on the timing of Fatha, Kasra, and Damma, okay? Which is 1 count.